Hi guys, it's Stella here. To those who doesn't know me, I'm writing a book based on the true story of my life, and this is episode 11 of my book, My Life, My Testimony. Please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any episode. This is an inspiring story. This is an interesting story. It might help you, you never know. And I'm willing to share this story with you. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check my blog as well. So the title of this episode is Serious Sickness of My Baby. In 2003, a lot of problems were mainly associated with hunger, sickness of my baby girl, and also abuse. My ex-husband was beating me most of the times, and I was used to that treatment, although it was not easy. I remember a few months later, after we moved to Gokwe, my baby fell sick seriously, and I had no clue what was it, because I was also very young to become a responsible mother. It started at night. She was crying so much, and she was not breastfeeding. I was so worried and suspicious why she was acting that way. I then remembered that my mother-in-law, when she was born, they put some traditional medicine on her head, and they were declaring that it was going to protect her from sickness. I just thought maybe the medicine which was put on the head was causing sickness. This was my first time to see that being done to babies. I had no idea about that culture. Like I said, I was born a Christian and our family believed in Jesus, not traditional healers or ancestors. During that night, my friend, the wife to the deputy headmaster, advised me to take the baby back home in Mashingo so that the grandparents will help the baby, because I didn't know what to do exactly. I did likewise early in the morning the following day. I woke up very early and catch the bus to travel back home with the sick baby. In the previous episode, I mentioned that it was very far from Gokwe to Mashingo, so it took me the whole day traveling with the sick baby. The worst part of it was that she was not feeding normally and she was restless. Her body was very weak and her body temperature was very high, but I was just praying all the way for the Lord to keep my baby alive until I get home. I then changed my mind on the way. Then I decided to go straight home where my mother was, and avoided to go to my in-law house. That day I arrived home around past 7 in the evening. It was already dark. My mother held the baby and she realized that the baby was not looking good and the eyes were wide. She was not crying or feeding. Then she told me to accompany her to the nearest neighbor. She was an old woman who had experiences on baby, so she told my mom that the problem was that medicine my mother-in-law put on her head. She then took salt and cooking oil and she was scrubbing my baby's head. That's when she started crying. Then the eyes were no longer white but no more color. I then tried to breastfeed her and she was drinking the milk. The temperature was also normal after some hours. The old woman told us my baby was affected by the traditional medicine which was applied to her head when she was born. She advised us that when the baby is born, we must not apply any medicine to the head. After some days, the baby was fine, and I went back to Gokwe to my ex-husband. Most of the times I was going to the clinic with my baby. Her health was not very good because she is a special child. What I remember very well is that I was doing this alone because my ex-husband didn't care about her. He was just busy drinking beer and hanging around with his friends. He was believing in traditional healers and ancestors, so sometimes he was forcing me to accompany him to the traditional healers with the baby because he was believing that it was witchcraft, whatever was causing my baby to get sick. He was even blaming me for the sickness of my baby, and he was calling me a witch. If I refused to go with him, he was beating me thoroughly. That life was painful, dear friends and relatives. It was like a prison to me, but I had no option except to follow his interests. I was using those traditional medicines from the traditional healers he was giving me on my baby, but I was only doing it when my ex-husband was watching. During his absence, I was not doing it but throwing away the medicine. I was doing this because I was afraid of being beaten. Some of the things which were happening ended up being normal to me, but that was the life I was living. I was walking for such a long distance every time. I was going to the clinic with my baby like other women when it's the time for injection, and I didn't know what I didn't know actually that I was a center of attraction among others. People were staring at my baby because they could tell that she was not a normal baby. They were also looking at me because I was so miserable. My dressing was just worse. Those who knew that my ex-husband was a teacher couldn't believe it because I was dressing like a poor woman, not like a teacher's wife. My baby's napkins were cream, not pure white. That was because sometimes I was just washing the napkins without soap because my husband was not taking care of us. If I can afford to cook porridge for my baby girl, either I was putting a drop of cooking oil or a lemon because I couldn't afford margarine every day or peanut butter only sometimes once in a while. In life, sometimes you can reach that point when you don't see any light in future. You feel like you are stuck and there is no future for you. Let me tell you, my beloved, there is always a light at the end of channel. Even if you are at the middle of the storm, but it shall be over. I never imagined myself being who I am today. There was no hope for my life. There was just darkness in every area of my life. But God remembered me and He changed my life. Please keep on following this book. It's inspiring and it's based on a true story of my life. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe.